Here at UGA, we love college football. We love it so much that we treat our student athletes like stars. However, these student athletes are unable to do one thing that every other star is able to: profit off themselves. Here at UGA and at every other NCAA institution, student athletes are banned from profiting off their image and likeness, and from even having an agent. As a Bulldog fan and as a die-hard college sports fan, I was previously opposed to the idea of players doing any of the aforementioned actions. Nevertheless, I've changed my beliefs after looking at and listening to stories of student athletes and the struggles brought on by their lack of rights and the inability to claim their likeness. As I will discuss, there are many problems with the NCAA's restrictions. From those restrictions, we shall discuss the needs of student athletes and a solution: a federal adoption of California's Fair Pay to Play Act. We will explore how this act will be implemented and how it benefits student athletes. To start, we need to recognize the problem. College athletes, now more than ever, are underpaid for their talent. Sure, as some of you will suggest, they are getting scholarships, an education, tuition, room and board, training, and exposure. But that doesn't cover what a student athlete is worth and doesn't truly reward them for their work. According to Business Insider, the average value of a UGA football player to the school is $463,536, yet they only get $11,830 or $30,404 in scholarship money, depending on their residency, and $13,720 waived in room, board, and other fees. Nevertheless, we can assume for a moment that the remainder of the balance, roughly $420,000 to $440,000, is covered by training and exposure, especially since this training and exposure is also a benefit to the program, not just the player. Not to mention, these athletes don't have time for another job and can't make any money off their image and likeness. Yet schools make millions of dollars off their athletes' image and likeness, which can help bring attention to the school and generate more money even outside of sports. Once you get past the massive underpaying and lack of rights that these players have, you'll see the cracks in our current college sports system. First and foremost, these players can't be paid and can't make money off themselves from their image or likeness while playing for a college team. That means that they can't be like former Bulldog Todd Gurley and make money off an autograph, which he was later punished for, or like former UCF punter Donald D. LaHaye and make what little money there is to be made off a YouTube channel. They can't receive gifts of money or profit off their jersey sales either. The National Collegiate Players Association, a group of former collegiate players, came to another realization about college athletes in their study, the $6 billion heist. These student athletes are mislabeled as amateurs, which becomes the basis for the argument that they shouldn't be paid. In truth, with the skill and talent that the average Division I athlete has, they are nothing short of a professional. Any lesser label is erroneous. And if you wanted to watch a truly authentic amateur sport, go watch intramural sports. Furthermore, if student athletes have professional aspirations, they have to wait until they are no longer enrolled at their college to even get in touch with an agent, depriving them of potential planning that they could have done with an agent that could further enrich them. The NCAA has even been brought to court over these policies. In the case O'Bannon versus the NCAA, former college athlete Ed O'Bannon sued on behalf of his former and fellow current college athletes to stop the NCAA from restricting players' rights to their image. So how can we fix all of these problems? The best step would be the adoption of a federal, i.e. nationwide, legislation similar in effect to California's Fair Pay to Play Act. California's Fair Pay to Play Act allows student athletes to profit off their image and likeness and to hire an agent. The act comes as a response to rising popularity of allowing college athletes to financially profit off their likeness and would go into effect in 2023. And while it's the first law of its kind, other states soon followed in suit with similar pieces of legislation. So how would this go into effect at the federal level? Well, first it would need to pass in both chambers of Congress, and then get signed into law by the president. This seems like a very real possibility considering that the act has bipartisan support. It would go into effect a year after it was signed, as to give time to help the the college sports world adapt. After it becomes legally enforceable, players would be able to contact and hire an agent and financially profit off their name, image, and likeness without fears of suspension. It would also give schools the option to grant non-academic stipends, that is, to pay them. In addition to these protections, there would be numerous benefits for players, schools, and non-athlete students that would follow a nationwide adoption of California's act. In the Knight Commission on Intercollegiate Athletics report, Restoring the Balance, they found that schools could spend less on their athletics and more on their academics, strip the NCAA of unnecessary oversight, and allow for more transparency of college athletics. Schools would be able to spend less on their athletic departments as players would be able to generate money not just for themselves, but also more money for their program. These programs would also be able to profit in new ways that they previously have been unable to, like with the memorabilia of current players. The transparency that fans, students, and boosters all would get creates a better understanding of their team's financial accounts, programs, and disciplinary processes. This begs the question, how can we as students help get this law passed? There are two groups we can voice our support to, school administrators and legislators. We need to convince both of them that this is the best policy for our students and that it has public support. With this law in place, we'll be able to help our college athletes. To summarize, we need to allow our college athletes to be treated as professionals. We need the federal adoption of a Fair Pay to Play Act so that players can profit off their image and likeness, limit the authority of the NCAA, hire agents, and help put money back in college academics. I hope you will see that helping college athletes helps us as students.